We are talking Pixar today in honor of the newest film, Elio. We've decided to do a Pixar draft, but also focus some of our time on the newest film from Pixar, Elio. Joining me today are two of the three hosts of the King Gang Pod, your local podcast for Sacramento Kings News. I got Christo to my left. I got switch on. Yes. RT to my right. I should have done the left hand too. And this is going to be a fun one. We are going to be talking Pixar. We're going to be going really in depth, and we are going to be drafting films within the Pixar canon. We have 8 categories that we're going to be drafting from, so 24 films out of the 29. 5 will not be drafted, but I just want to talk before we jump into it. And we're going to start off with our Elio review. But first, I want to hear, what is your guys' relationship with Pixar as a studio? RT, I'll let you go first.
Oh, man. It goes a long way. Goes a long, long way. As you can see, some of my shorts, this is Pizza Planet shorts that I'm wearing right here, so may not get in the camera. Oh, there we go. It's right here. But, yeah, I came in today. You know, I'm a big Pixar guy. I really, really do like a lot of the movies that Pixar came out with. They're nostalgic. Some of my favorite movies when I was a kid were from Pixar, so a lot of them were just super resonating to me. I always felt like I can always just go back to my inner childhood, and whenever I want to watch like a Pixar movie, that's like the one I really, really like. So Pixar, yeah, I mean, a lot of them, you know, even as an adult, I really liked some of the newer Pixar movies that came out recently. They always just do such a good job of just really, really visually do a really good job with it. I always think like Pixar movies are some of the best movies of visually, period.
Do you remember what the first Pixar film you saw was?
I think the first one, my parents told me as like a baby, like they would put on Toy Story, so that doesn't necessarily count, but I think the first Pixar movie that I see was A Bug's Life. That was my first one. That was like the first one. Then Finding Nemo was afterwards. And then I kind of went backwards and did Toy Story 2, then Incredibles, then Cars, and then Ratatouille. And then it was kind of a long length period where I didn't really watch any Pixar movies when I was a teenager.
I can't believe you remember the in order
the
of how you watched
something. Yeah, I mean that's just how it is. How I was as a kid, you know. So I'll just take it.
Christo, founder of the King Gang Pod, seller of many King's items on eBay. I gotta ask you, what do you remember most about Pixar for you?
Well, let's just start when I was younger. I grew up in Sacramento, but my mom, she would pack my brother and I in the car, and we'd make the trips to Disneyland. So earliest memories were actually being in Disneyland, meeting all the characters. Disney was always, you know, a special place to my brother and I as a kid. So that is where it all started. And my mom has these photos of me. I used to collect like all of the characters. Like they had like these little like small like statue toys, and I would collect all of them. They would be in the room. I had the stuffed animals on the bed as a kid. So I was that was my life as a kid before basketball took over. But yeah, so that's how it all started. So I'd probably say it's because of Des, because of my mom. She's probably the reason why I got into the Disney / Pixar universe.
Do you remember which one was the first you saw?
Ooh,
like a clear memory of seeing it?
I don't have a clear memory because no, I really don't. I don't have a clear memory of like the first Pixar movie, but I remember back then, not too much older than you, but you know, the VHSs were definitely a thing. Yeah. So we watched a lot of the films on VHS, but yeah, not like a clear, concrete memory as a kid. A little fuzzy when I think back to like the super young ages, but yeah, unlike RT, I don't have the order of which movies he saw. I mean, RT's just got a brilliant mind, but that's besides the point. But yeah, it was always on. Disney was always on the television because my mom always saw that this is appropriate for kids to watch.
I think you're hitting on an interesting idea of like all of us being in our late 20s. Pixar is like fundamentally really important to all of our childhoods. Like definitely like something that we all consumed, that we all watched. A lot of them we saw in school. A lot of them we saw from our parents taking us to theaters or getting us the VHS tapes. Like I remember owning those VHS tapes as well. So there is like something that I noticed because I've been rewatching all of them in preparation for this draft. And like the thing that I noticed specifically was how instrumental those like first 10 films are to like my understanding of film language, knowledge, depth, all of that. Like, they're so fundamentally important. Like, most of those original 10 I put at like the highest of echelons for films. And like even some of the like gags, like I don't know if you guys remember it at the end of, and they definitely do it in Toy Story 2. They definitely do it in Monsters Inc. for sure. They used to do gag reels, and it was like you'd have like Tom Hanks as Woody, and they'd like record like this blooper that obviously like didn't happen, but they animated and all that. And I'm like, oh, like that's what a film is. And like there's these things called blooper reels, and like they make mistakes. And like just even that like understanding is like, oh, that's why I have an interest in like behind the scenes like work in film, or like what an animator does, or what a voice actor is, all that. Like I found it so like enlightening going back and like, oh, this is where this interest comes from. Oh, this is why I love this. Or like, oh, I remember seeing this at a fundamental age. The first movie I ever saw in theaters was Finding Nemo.
Oh, that's a banger.
So like,
yeah, I can't even imagine that on the big screen.
yeah, so I was 2003, I think is when that movie comes out. So I was 5 when that movie came out. So like I remember seeing it. I remember owning the little squirt toy that talked. You'd click the shell and it like talk. Like that's how instrumental. And I mean, obviously the toys, which we'll get into, which I think was also a big understanding of a lot of our Pixar knowledge. But with that all said, we're going to be jumping into this draft before we actually dive into Elio. So I just want to just kind of go over this draft and kind of talk about some of the categories that we're going to be doing and kind of go over the rules of this draft so we can kind of get this clarified. But essentially what we have is we have 8 categories here, and we're going to be drafting. The categories today are the OG 10. So this is Toy Story through up. Then we have films with no sequels, and then we have sequels, Oscar winners, Toy Story films, the 2010s, the 2020s, and Wild Card. So that means 24 films are going to be drafted today, and that will leave 5 not drafted. How this is going to work is it's going to be a snake draft, 8 rounds. So we'll determine the order in a second. 1 film per category, and once a film is selected in any category, it immediately becomes off the board for all of us. So we can select, we can be very strategic with that. It might end with us kind of screwing each other at times. We're going to kind of see how this works. And then that's how we're going to go through this. 5 films will not be drafted, as I already mentioned. So I guess before we kind of get into this, is there any questions from either of you guys drafting?
So just to clarify, you said if say RT goes straight for Toy Story on Oscar winners, then that means Toy Story is off the OG 10s, and so on.
Yes,
And
it would be off from OG
off.
10s. It would be off from Toy Story films. It would be off from Wild Card. So once a movie is selected,
So
it
we'll
is
just
off the
cross it
board.
off. We'll just
Yeah.
cross it off.
Yeah.
just-
Yeah, we can just cross it off. Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
So
I
with
think we're ready then.
I think we're ready. This is like building a fantasy football team over
I
here.
I did some mock drafts before you guys came over.
Did you?
here, so-
I did. I had my big. No, I had my big board over here too. I'm just joking. I didn't have a big board either.
I got my draft team in my other ear. They're just all right there, just
Oh yeah.
doing evaluation.
You got Scott Perry.
Yeah, I got Vivek just yelling Nicholas
Stauskas.
full blast in the air. I'm like, he's not even eligible this draft, and he's like, give me Stauskas. So okay, so that actually does bring me to a question. Do you guys have any like? Do you have a strategy coming into this draft? Do you have an idea of like if you get the number 1 pick? Do you have your clear consensus? Are you going to be winging it? Like, what are you feeling like without revealing your draft?
Yeah, I mean, I have a clear consensus on my number 1, but if I get it, then great. But if not, I'd have my goal is to build out a balanced roster of really good movies. So that's like pretty much how I'm going to approach this draft, is trying to find out a good balance between the two and just really just focus on that.
Yeah, I have no like concrete strategy. I'm really hoping I don't fall to the one. Typically, in any other scenario, you want that number 1 pick. You want that movie. You want that young stud that's going to carry your franchise to the next level for decades to come. When it comes to this, however, I kind of want to feel it out. I want to see where your guys' heads are at, so that RT's a big Pizza Planet guy. Oh, okay. So he's probably going Toy Story right away. You know, like I don't want to like overstep. I wanted to see what's available. I'm basically gonna go best available, but also what's true to me. I want my team to be unique. I want to have all aspects of a team. What makes a team great. I want depth. There's a lot of great teams out there with depth right now, and I just want to. You know, it's a copycat league. You know, I'm seeing balance, depth. That's what I'm going for today. So you're going to see some surprise picks, and I might be reaching, which I am okay with doing that. You know, I like doing bold picks. So that's what I'm here to do today.
And the interesting thing is, so we're going to be putting this out on social media. That way we can see who has the draft board that wins it all.
Ooh, I like that.
So,
I didn't know we were doing that.
I figured that would be a fun element. And then whoever wins can just become the founding member of the King Gang.
Oh,
So it's on the line.
wow.
Just want to say that.
Wow.
I'm coming for the keys.
Oh.
No, but yeah, we'll be putting this on social media. I don't know if I have a strategy. And I think the thing that's going to be interesting, because I didn't really game this out, I really hope we're not in a scenario where films go a little undrafted, or not a little undrafted, where we get to a category and we just run out of films to select from in a given category. So that's going to be interesting. Some of these categories, and that's why it's pretty purposefully designed that there's a lot of films within each category. So I don't think we'll run into that. But it also means some categories are going to become thin really quickly. So that's where I think the improvisation of a draft is going to be and where needs are going to be met. But with that said, I think we should decide on the draft order real quick. So can you bring in our special guest for the draft order?
Maya!
Did you hear that?
I don't know. Maya, are you here?
We can edit this
Be
part.
so awkward.
Maya! oh, she's coming. She's
There,
coming.
there
she
she
is.
Okay.
Okay, so I believe you're going to pick a number between 1 and 100, and then whoever's closest will get the number 1 pick?
Yes.
Okay, so Maya, let us know when you're ready.
Okay, wait.
Whoa.
Dang.
So we're doing this,
Should we write
to
it
be
out?
fair.
Write it down.
Write it
in
and
the
hide it,
corner.
Okay.
so we all know.
Oh, goodness. All right. I'm going to put this on the...
Write the number down.
No, you're fine.
You're good.
You're not on camera, so.
Here we go. We're going to put this right...
Okay.
I'm hoping I do not get the
I
number.
don't know if it would be
Are
crazy.
you guys shooting for the number 1 pick? You trying to read my...
No.
Because I'm just trying to throw... like.
That'd be crazy
I
if it
don't
would.
hate having the number 1 pick in this draft.
Okay. Uh-oh, RT... Oh,
Oh, yeah. See.
are they doing sign language over here?
Yeah.
What's
This-
going on? What's going
Is this
on?
tampering?
It might be tampering.
Should we get the league officials in on this one?
This is why they think the league is rigged, for this reason alone, because of guys like RT.
Yep. No, it's...
Should I say the number?
No, let's reveal our number
Okay.
first before. So,
Okay.
Christo, what is your number?
My number is 29.
I have 77.
Mine is 45.
Ooh, deep spread.
97.
Okay. So that's spend.
That
So
means I
let's-
get the 3rd pick. That's what I wanted.
Okay,
There we
so let's
go.
get that
I think
draft
everybody
order.
got what they wanted.
I think we all got what we wanted.
We all got what we wanted.
Maya, thank you,
Perfect.
so,
Thank
Super
you, Maya.
perfect.
thank you so much.
Of course.
So, the draft order in this case will be, and I'm just writing this down.
I got to write it out.
I'm going to write mine too.
So
We
Ben,
have-
you got the first pick, right?
Yeah, Ben's got first pick. Let's go.
Drafting number 1 will be me. Drafting number 2 will be RT to my right. And then drafting number 3 at the turn will be Christo. And this puts me in an interesting position because that means I'll get the number 1 pick and then I'm just going to get 5 turns just sat out.
You're going to get 5 incredible
And that's the
films
issue,
just
'cause, like,
taken from you.
Just 5 films instantly off the board, which does kind of scare me.
That's why
initially.
I didn't want the first. That's exactly why I didn't want the
Yeah.
first.
I mean, it's right. I'm happy to be in the middle because it's like you can kind of, you don't have to really necessarily wait. You can kind of, you have like a gap in between and then you
got a
can,
good game
yeah.
plan.
You
I
got to
feel like
get,
this
RT
is-
might get some big boys to start.
And so obviously we don't need to draft in order. We're not going by category. We can just go wherever we need to. So this brings us to the beginning of the draft. And we'll talk about each pick as we kind of go along, give our initial thoughts, what we think. In the category of,
Are you ready? This is the number 1 pick already?
I think I'm,
Wait, wait. Adam Silver's walking over.
da, 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 da,
The pick is in. The
da,
pick
da,
is in.
da, da.
I don't know if the pick is in. With the number 1 pick, I'm going to go
Wait, hold on. You
Yeah.
have to say, and the number 1 pick of the 2025
Cars 2.
Pixar Pixar draft goes to...
Gosh, I am going to go with my initial instinct, and in Toy Story films, I'm going to draft Toy Story
Okay.
as my number one.
All right.
Story 1 is
Toy Story 1 off the board.
So I thought about this a lot. Like, if I was to get the number one pick, what would I do? Because I don't know if Toy Story is my favorite Pixar film. I don't think it is. But I love this film, and rewatching it, I was just kind of just struck with how clever the story is, how well written and funny it is, and just like what it launches. Like, every Pixar film is like based on this humor that Toy Story establishes, the jokes of it all, the fact of like the Toy Story legacy on it, that it's all like built on this thing. I just look at it, I'm like, Toy Story kind of has to be like the highest of highs for me. So that's why I went number one. Did I do the right thing? I'm a little concerned.
I will say this. I think there's no wrong answer for a draft of talent of this caliber.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is potentially like the Cooper flag of this year's draft. Maybe the Luca. This is like the consensus number one pick, because Toy Story, I think that's what that gave kids hope.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what made kids dream. That's what opened imagination. I think Toy Story is like the foundation of animation films right there. I think that movie,
modern for sure.
like the fact that you could, we're talking 2 decades later, and they're already talking about the 5th one coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what other movie franchise animations are you able to make 5 films out of that people want to see?
I think that's right. Was it your first?
I would say if it was available if it made its way to the 3rd, that's easy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If
Absolutely.
you don't have to reveal what your pick would have been, but if you had the number one pick, would you have done Toy Story?
Probably, because
Okay.
you don't have to think about it too much. Universally liked. Like, when I used to watch that movie, I used to dream. Like, as a kid, I used to dream about that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do that. That little backflip off of the ramp. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? There's just so many moments in that movie that are just so special to a kid. But even like as an adult, you could just appreciate like the storyline, the animation. It was just that was just the pinnacle of that time. So
Yeah.
I think for me,
That's
it's
a-
easy number
That's a solid choice.
Would you have done it number one?
one. RT was going to tell you who his number one pick is right
I'm
now.
going to tell you mine, and it's not going to be Toy Story, but
not gonna be Toy Story.
but it is going to be something from that Toy Story category, because
No way.
my first pick in the Toy Story films is going to be Toy Story 2. And
Tell us why.
and I'll tell you why. I think, to me, not only when it comes to sequels and all that stuff, obviously I could have put it in the sequels, but I want to put it in the Toy Story category, because to me, I think Toy Story 2 is one of the most perfect movies in modern day history. I just think, to me, there's a lot of character depth that really, really does a lot of things really well when it comes to the first movie. Obviously, that first movie is really good, but you learn about just a lot of the character developments, especially with Jessie losing, being departed from her first owner, and just being part of.
When somebody loved me.
Yeah, when somebody loved me, it is probably one of the most heartbreaking songs, but it is so beautiful.
It's a very beautiful moment.
It's a very beautiful moment, and there's a lot of symbolism that really does showcase a lot of things, where it's like sometimes that on one side of the spectrum, Woody is so loyal to his owner, and then on the other side you have Jessie, who kind of is on the opposite side of the spectrum, and he just feels abandoned. But overall, it's just such a beautiful movie. The Prospector, in my opinion, is a
Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah.
Stinky Pete.
Yeah, Stinky Pete. Stinky Pete is a top 3 villain in the Pixar moment for me. I just feel like everything that this movie does, just the storyline of just how you feel like as a kid, sometimes people grow up and move on, but you still have that kid in your heart in a way. I think Toy Story 2 just checks off so many boxes for me, and I think
What's your favorite scene in that film?
I really liked a lot of the Woody's roundup, where like Woody identifies like a lot of like his past, and like seeing like what his past was like too was really, really awesome. And just seeing him just like be like this superhero as a kid, and just seeing him just be like, oh, I was on a show, that was so cool. But the Woody's Roundup is also like super catchy too. I love Woody's Roundup. That is a catchy like theme song too.
I think what rewatching Toy Story 2, which I did about 2 weeks ago, I think what struck me about it, because I always used to say that was my favorite Toy Story film, and I don't think that's true anymore. But what I will say that like struck me watching Toy Story 2 was how smartly it identifies this feeling of not being wanted or feeling like you can like have more in your life. And I think that's like, it's so much due to the fact that you have Tom Hanks at the center of it as Woody, is he's doing so much of the heavy lifting, giving a real performance in the voice over work that he's doing there. And I think adding the dimension of Woody essentially getting to see himself as like the star of his own show, like all of that, I think it's really impactful in all of those ways. And then the decision that he makes to go back to Andy and to also understand like it, because this whole trilogy slash I guess now 4 films is a story about aging. And like the moment he like realizes like, hey, my life will not always be in Andy's room, and I have to accept that like that they get older, and that the purpose of me is to be here for him and to enjoy all of that. Like I found that profound and beautiful in it. I also think, and we can talk about this because you and I being huge collectors, like this is the film that I think remember having so many of the toys from this film, like specifically, like having the Woody doll, having Buzz, having Zurg being one of my favorite sequences in that film
so
at the
good.
beginning, like the Star Wars homage. But having those characters, Jesse, Bullseye, Rex, all of that, like I remember having those toys very clearly and playing with them and collecting them all because I wanted to do it. I wrote Ben on the bottom of my Buzz and like Woody, like all of that is like in this film. And it's obviously in the first one. I just feel like adding the new Bullseye, adding like Jesse, it really just added layers to it. I had the penguin, what's his name? I'm blanking on his name, but
It's like it's
Wheezy.
Wheezy, right?
And I had him and I lost him. And I remember I still feel guilt about losing him because it's just like exactly how it works in the movie too. But I like the pick of Toy Story 2. Does that change your draft strategy at all?
1,000%.
Was that going to be your pick?
I was hoping I'd be getting him on the back end. You know?
Okay.
I was hoping I could maybe go like 3-4 and maybe scoop up a Toy Story 2 there. But now that I got 2 back-to-back picks, it just opens up the world for me right now. And you guys are going like the true nostalgia. I could tell with Toy Story 1, Toy Story 2. It's making this pick so much more difficult for me. Because obviously I don't know exactly which direction to go. Like, do I go the safe route or do I just keep you guys like, what is this guy's strategy? And that's what I think I'm going to do today. I don't know.
Is he going to do it?
He's going to do it.
I don't know.
I think he's going to do it.
No,
he's doing it.
He's doing it.
He's
I
doing
don't
it.
think
He's doing it.
This
It's
is
coming.
huge for my draft
It's
board if he
coming.
does it.
It's coming.
I don't think anyone would see this move coming.
We're so sad.
I think you guys are going to be glad with my pick here.
Thank God.
I am not going the safe route here.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm
here
going
we go.
based off of what I think.
I'm already
makes
like
you
Going
good.
Cars 2.
And I am going to do. The pick is in, everyone.
All right, let's do
Okay,
it.
this took that whole Toy Story 2 breakdown for me to decide what I want to do. But with
In what category?
the third pick in the 2025 Pixar Draft on Ben Friedman Films YouTube channel, I am going with the OG10
Okay.
category,
Yep.
and I am taking
Yep. Here it comes.
the movie Up.
All right. I like
Okay.
it.
I'm taking Up because I don't want the opportunity to let that movie slip me by. That movie, you could argue with whoever you want to argue about this, but the introduction
Mm-hmm.
of the movie Up might be one of the most emotional feelings you could have when watching a film. It hits everything. I think the way that movie is structured from beginning to end gives you everything you want in a movie. You get the emotion of sadness instantly. You get picked up with humor when that little boy shouts out Russell Westbrook. He hops into the door, and you just get this comedic dynamic of the young boy and the grumpy old man. And somehow, some way, these two get to go on the adventure of a lifetime together. And I just think that movie gives you everything you could ask for in a Pixar film. The colors, the storyline, the ups and downs, the adventure, the emotion. I think it's a great film. I
think RT and I were thinking you were doing something different.
Oh, I have something even crazier coming up next.
Like we were like both like I think we were both looking at the 2020s and we're like, is this actually happening right
I
now?
thought so too.
Oh no, I think I could hold off.
Oh yeah, no, I see some where I'm like, yeah.
So let's talk about Up real quick because this is not one of my sentimental picks. Like, I like this movie quite a bit. I struggle with this movie past. And it's the issue of a movie peaking, like in the first 10 minutes of the movie, which you talk about. And Up could have been drafted an Oscar winner because this won 2009. And it also won 2 categories. It won.
Not surprised it's an Oscar-winning film. Not surprised one bit.
Up was animated and score. Original score by Giacchino, I think is what it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Animated score. Or animated and score. The score of this movie is beautiful. I love Giacchino's work in it. I love the adventure of it. I find the beginning and the end to be the best parts of the movie. When they're wandering the jungle, at times I get a little bored with it. It's just never been really my cup of tea. Again, I still like really enjoy this film. It's just like one that I can feel safe. Like I'm glad I don't have to draft it or put it on my board list.
Yeah, me either.
No, I
felt good. This was kind of one. This is one I was like. This one's a solid movie, but it didn't resonate with me in terms of like some of the other ones that I'm looking at in terms of my draft board.
I could make the argument that the first 10 minutes are the best thing of anything Pixar's ever done. I think the married life sequence is like, that's the reason. And to me, that's also kind of the struggle of the movie where I'm like, that shines so far above anything else of that movie for me. But like, that is such an emotionally resonant, powerful scene. To see these kids go from young to old, to see the struggles of life, not to understand it as a kid and then understand it as I get older. Like, obviously, I understand the broadness of from beginning to marriage to death. Like, I got that as a kid. To actually go through and be like, oh, this is the moment they discover that, like, she can't have a child. Or this is the moment where the diagnosis comes and what that means. And, like, the way that they set this up throughout, and then like the actual devastation of Carl losing her, and like it's just a really painful scene. It's emotional manipulation to like the max, but it's like very effective of that. So yeah, Up number 3. Do you have back-to-back picks?
I do have back.
Yeah,
what's he doing here?
I love your analysis with Up, by the way. Yeah, I think for that first scene alone, it is so impactful.
And I know people think I'm wrong. Like, I'm that's like sure definitely like...
I could see the comments right now.
People
blowing you up right now for talking bad about my film.
It is so sentimental for people where, like, I think a lot of people have this as their favorite, and I don't blame them.
Up has a cult community, and I wouldn't say I'm, like, the leader by any sorts, but I'm a part of it.
There you go.
It's a good film. Okay, this might be controversial. I almost made this my number 3 pick. Like, I know you guys like the older films. Yes, like obviously Monsters Inc. That could easily be the 4th pick.
Is he doing it?
And it probably will. But I'm pivoting. I'm sacrificing Monsters Inc. for this movie because I think you guys will take it. I know RT won't, but I feel like Ben will. So I'm gonna do it right now, right here, right now. With the 4th overall pick in the 2025 Pixar draft, I am going.
In what category?
In Oscar winners.
Okay, that pivots the strategy again. I keep thinking he's doing something else, and then he doesn't.
I am going Ratatouille. I knew RT wouldn't care about it, but Ben will.
I really wanted that one.
Okay.
I thought I had it in the bag.
Oh, the Ratatouille.
So Ratatouille is my point guard, okay?
Is this not one of yours?
No, it's not mine. It's not mine. It didn't resonate with me.
Really?
Yeah. I only seen it one time. I only seen it one time.
I knew it. See, that's the issue. That is the issue. I went to the Disney Paris.
I've never been.
About 8 months ago.
I'm just gonna put
and after going on that ride, that gave me the assurance I needed to take this with my.
I
my
love this movie.
This movie is unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Legitimately.
I could go on and on about what this movie means to me, but I don't want... The audience knows. The audience knows why this movie is so special. Ratatouille. That's my point guard. It's my Swiftie. He's kind of like the LaMelo Ball. He's like flashy. He'll fill seats. He'll give you everything you want. He's box office. He's everything. He's bilingual. I mean, he's everything. He's everything you want in a film. I can't say much more. It's just.
I'm so annoyed right now.
to me.
I'm so frustrated. So here's what I will say about Ratatouille, because this is one that I also rewatched recently and just loved. One, the way that this film captures romanticism in the Paris aesthetic is just absolutely gorgeous. This movie looks so incredible, and the way that everything is so romantic in this film, even the way that Remy talks about the way he cooks, all of it, it's just this lost art of all of this, the passion in it, finding something that you know that you love that people can't tell you that you can do. That's something that anyone who's creative feels that, and like that resonates with them, and just chasing after that itch that you just can't get rid of and that you want to devote your life to. That is such an important thing for artists that emotionally resonated with me. All of it is just so beautiful. I love the critic character of Anton in it, just like when it transports him back to childhood, like the way that he talks about the artistry of being a chef, where it can come from the most unlikely of places, like all of it, just from every way this movie looks to what it's saying, the symbolism of it, just the journey we go on with Remy and his family throughout is just so funny. It's so resonant. I found it so impactful, the way it pays homage to 1960s cinema and its French language, like French New Wave, like all of it. I'm obsessed with Ratatouille. I'm so annoyed I didn't get this one. I thought I was going to get it at the turn.
No way. I would not let that happen. This movie's too good to not go.
No, it's a really good pick. That's a really good pick. I will say, like, Ratatouille is it's a movie I think that, like Ben said, captures so much romanticism, just all that stuff.
Because RT is a romantic himself.
Yeah, I am a romantic.
He probably, I know you've said you've only seen it once, but watch it again, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I definitely need to watch that as an adult, but
watch it tonight.
I will. As speaking of movies that I've seen as an adult, it is back to me with the fifth pick. I'm gonna go with, for my fifth pick, this is gonna be in the 2010s category.
Okay.
I'm going with Coco as one of my movies. Yeah.
This was another one I wanted.
Yeah, and I really I think what really checks off the boxes for me when it comes to Pixar movies and movies in general is the visuals. I think Coco is a top 2 visual movie from the Pixar film side of things. I think the visuals are gorgeous. I think there's just so much there. The character dynamic of just understanding and just learning about how to lose a lost one, and then the whole plot twist of everything that happens. I really do like this movie a lot, and the songs, obviously, the music is incredible. The music is incredible. I'm a musician, so I resonate with this movie a lot, just in terms of just how beautiful some of the music is in this movie, and just understanding the whole complete character dynamic. I think this movie just checks off all the boxes for me as in terms of a Pixar movie.
I just rewatched this one yesterday, and it's the first time that I've seen it since theaters. And one of the reasons I've was hesitant to rewatch this was the last film I saw with my grandma before she passed, and she's she grew up in Mexico. She only spoke Spanish. She passed away, I believe, at the age of either 93 or 94. So and she passed away, I think, about a year later from seeing this movie, and and at that point we knew it was happening semi soon, and there was a pain to that, seeing that movie. There was, because we saw it as a whole family, my mom, sister, I, and her, and and I rewatching yesterday, last 30 minutes, I'm still an emotional wreck watching that movie. Everything, the idea of forgetting somebody, the legacy of it all. When Miguel comes back to the human world and performs the song for his grandma and the family's all there, I find it just devastating. Just truly tears down my cheeks. Hardest I've ever cried in a movie is Coco, just for all those reasons. Yeah. So it's such a sentimental pick for me, because obviously I was going through that at my life when I watched that. I think I was like 20 when that movie came out approximately. So like just on that level, like the movie works. Also, like just on the animation level, it looks incredibly gorgeous. But the emotional resonance that it hits with this character, that it hits with this story, that it hits with the Hector character, who is the lost great grandfather, who kind of gets his legacy reclaimed in this. I absolutely love Coco. I would have loved to have had this film. I was kind of hoping it would drop later.
Too. On a cultural level, it's just
Yeah, on a cultural level,
so
that's
good.
why I think it's just carries so much weight.
so good. That's honestly RT. I thought maybe that could squeeze to the third round. I was hoping, but that's a good reach for Coco.
That was kind of my hope with Coco, that I
That's
could get
solid,
it
RT.
later.
That's a solid pick, RT.
So this means I'm at the turn, and I feel great because I actually have the other.
back now. Oh,
And I'm kind of
Yeah,
glad
yeah.
because both films that I was like also debating with for the first round pick are still on this board.
oh no, he's doing it.
So let's just make sure I have all the categories right. I just want to make sure.
Oh yeah, I gotta delete.
This is tough because I'm losing out on a film that I wish I would have gotten. Okay, with the sixth pick of this draft in Oscar winner, I am going to go Finding Nemo.
Nice, that's a good pick.
I didn't even realize.
I was
Finding Nemo
I was hoping that
still
would fall
there.
back to me in the third round. That was one I was hoping would fall back.
So Finding
Whoa.
Nemo is my second pick in this draft.
Wow.
Drafted number 6 on this board. I'm so glad to have it. I was like a little concerned. This is my favorite Pixar movie, just straight up. I rewatched
mine
it
too.
again, and I rewatched it again, and I was just kind of like astonished by what this movie accomplishes. You talk about like a film that is just reaching for every idea that it can go for, like the expansiveness of this story, the epicness of this story of a father going after his son, and we're going through the ocean, and like the way that this movie looks, the animation is absolutely gorgeous. The way that the ocean is realized in this film is just perfectly captured in animation, and it's like even probably still defines how I look at the sea in many ways. But just all of it, like you can enjoy this on the cinematic level of going through this huge escaping adventure on the ocean front. Like you can enjoy that on that. On an emotional level, you can just enjoy the movie of a father going after his son and everything about it. Marlon, voiced by Albert Brooks, is just astonishing in this movie as the father. Nemo, Ellen DeGeneres is just so wonderfully funny as Dory in this movie. Willem Dafoe as Gil the fish, the leader of the ones in the dentist. Like all of it just really works, and it does this smart thing where it's kind of vignettes as you go along with the film. So it's like at one point you're with the jellyfish, at one point you're with the sea turtles and Crush and how they imagine Crush, and then like at one point you're with the sharks and Bruce and all that, the way they subvert the sharks' expectations in that movie. All of it is just so cleverly funny and so emotionally resonant of this father who has to learn to let go and trust his son, and a son trying to get back to his father. All of it is just so wonderfully beautiful, and I love Finding Nemo for that. Do we have any words before I go my next pick?
I think we're all good.
Don't touch
jump
the butt.
right in.
Don't touch the butt.
Yeah, don't touch the butt. Shout out to Bruce. Yeah, shout out to Bruce.
Shouts out Monterey Bay. Shouts out Monterey Bay.
So with the number 7 pick and my third pick in the category of the OG 10,
He's going for it. He's going for it.
Taken.
I'm drafting The Incredibles.
Yeah, that was going to be my pick too. Damn it.
If it was on the board, I was gonna snide that.
I knew
I had to
this.
sacrifice Ratatouille.
So this is the issue where I had 2 films that I could have drafted here and been very happy with.
Ben's team's looking
And,
really
like,
strong right now.
I just looked at it and I'm like, okay, like if The Incredibles is on the board, I want it. I want it too much to like not get it.
Yeah, I was really hoping I was gonna somehow get it, but
There-
that was wishful thinking.
There's not a lot to say about The Incredibles because like this movie speaks for itself very well. But what I will say about it, and again, rewatching this movie, the way this movie speaks on adulthood and like being in a place of life where you're not where you want to be, and struggling with that and finding one's passion again, and like all of that. The one thing that just I was also just kind of just shocked, not catching it as a kid, catching it a little older, was the scene where there's two really like wonderful beats of emotion in this film. One of them is when Mr. Incredible thinks his entire family dies from Syndrome's bombing of the jet, and like the absolute pain he's going through, the anger that he's facing in that moment, just incredible vocal performance right there. And the second one, which pays off later in the film on that moment, is when they're all about to go into the final battle again, and he's telling his entire family, like, stay right here, I have to do this alone. And the vocal performance from I'm blanking on the actress's name, it might be Holly Hunter, I think is her name, but that Elastigirl gives in there, where she's talking about like, oh, like, is this playtime for you, like whatever, like, and he's like saying like, I can't lose you, and then like you find out that the meaning of that is he can't bear the idea of losing his family, he's not strong enough. Just such a wonderful family dynamic at play in this movie. On top of that, like, in there, just the fun of this movie, like all the characters, the way that they're reflecting these characters at this moment of life, Dash being an ADHD like 10-year-old boy, Violet being right in high school and just like not being able to express herself, Jack just no one really knowing who he is, like all of that, just, and every dynamic is fun. There's so many great characters.
You're missing one important dynamic.
Yeah, there's a big one.
Syndrome is like
Syndrome. Yeah, that's the one that's the one I was gonna mention.
Probably my favorite villain
too.
But also, I mean,
he's
Edna
my favorite
Mode,
villain too.
Like,
dude, you're missing one of the most
which one am I missing?
Underappreciated combo.
Edna Mode,
the SGA and J-Dub, Mr. Incredible.
And Frozone. Duh.
Frozone. He could have his own film.
He's so funny in this movie, too.
He could have his own film. I'll say it right now.
Samuel L. Jackson kills it as Frozone in this movie. He's so funny. Honey, where's my super suit? Like, all of it. Like, the dynamics of all these characters are so well realized. This idea of, like, taking this 1960s aesthetic in superhero storytelling, like, paying homage to the Marvel cinematic, or not cinematic, it would be the Marvel comics of the Silver Age. Like, putting that to screen in this, it's so well done. With, I think Giacchino's the composer for this movie as well.
Perfect.
Like, Brad Bird directs the hell out of this movie. I'm stunned with how good The Incredibles is now and upon rewatch. Like, it just hits every time.
I wish I could have had.
I know. I was very much debating on this. Like,
spot for him.
I was hoping that it wouldn't. Man, it's so crazy because I was hoping to get the OG10 as one of them with Finding Nemo or Incredibles, and Ben just took two of them.
We didn't spend enough time talking about Syndrome.
Oh, I could talk about Syndrome. Syndrome, I think I'll speak on it because I love the backstory of Syndrome and how he became a villain and just wanting to become this superhero and realizing that like sometimes like superheroes are just not like the most kind people. Obviously, like Mr. Incredible was going through his own thing too, but just the way that Syndrome reacted to one interaction caused Syndrome to be this massive supervillain, and just really just having the idea of revenge and just wanting to take out every superhero and wanting him to become a superhero in his own mind and have this whole persona of like how he views himself as a superhero. It's just so incredible. And just the way that he just has this pure hatred and revenge towards Mr. Incredible is just, it's really, really, it's amazing. No pun intended. And I wasn't going to say incredible, but didn't want to give out the pun intended there. But I just think that Syndrome just checks off every villain. And he's probably one of the best animated villains, period.
Yeah, no, fully agree. I think the Syndrome story is like really wonderfully realized as well, with just the whole idea of this fan run amok, which is also one that's like, you watch it like 20 years later and you're like, oh, like he just be an internet blogger, like harassing women on the internet. Like that's like what he is now. But like all of it, like there's so much that funny enough ages really well with The Incredibles. The fact that Mr. Incredible's redemption arc basically begins with him fighting back at healthcare insurance people, like that's aged really well. But like all of it,
that's a really good point.
I'm pretty pro this movie. So
it's as simple like that duo, RT. It's as simple as, you know, Mr. Incredible was his hero. Like he looked up to him, and then he finally gets the chance to meet him, and like, you know, he wants to like prove to him that he's worthy, and then Mr. Incredible was just such a little douchebag to him.
Oh, major.
And that's what caused this revenge story. But it's as simple as just be nice to people, and look what happens when you're not nice to certain people. Look what it could turn into.
Yeah. Also, no capes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No capes.
Yeah.
No capes.
Okay, RT, you got the next pick, and I just know, like, I'm so sad because I lost out on a movie I really wish I could have gone, but I just.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Go for it.
no problem. This is where it gets really difficult because I'm looking at two categories right now, and both of these movies are in this category. The problem is I don't know if I want to go with nostalgia or just go with just high quality movie making. So this is kind of where I really am debating between three movies here. I'm actually going to go with my gut here. I feel like I can get this movie back. Just kind of looking at just looking back. Yeah, I feel. Yeah, no, actually, I feel pretty good about this because I
Cars?
can. No, oh, God,
Going?
no,
Just lock it in right now.
Oh, God, that movie just is not it. I will say, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go with this as my because I can get this on the back turn. I'm gonna go with part of the OG10. I am going with Monsters Inc. as my pick. Yeah,
This is the one that I knew if I drafted The Incredibles, it meant I was going to lose Monsters Inc.
Yeah, and I think that was kind of where I was gonna go with too because
My team's ruined.
yeah, Monsters Inc. I think it just is such a really good movie. I really love just the character dynamic between Mike and Sully. I love just the villain and Randall. Randall is just such a well-executed villain.
Dude, Randall and Syndrome, they could have.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 1 and 2 right there.
Absolutely.
Is Randall the main villain in Monsters Inc.?
Well,
because it's Mr. Water News. So
well,
like a lot
well,
of it.
well.
Yeah.
He's. But I mean, yeah. But at the end of the day,
like someone that kind of like scares you a little.
Yeah,
it's just
he's
like
very
as a villain though. Like it's not necessarily like the main villain, but like at the same time, like as a core villain, that's someone that you just. That does so well that you just do not like, but they just do such a good job of being a villain. Like Randall for me is just a great villain. I really, really, again, I could just go on and on. I really love the idea of just like Sully being this main hotshot guy, just come in as like, he's like probably the LeBron James of, Monsters Incorporated. Just gets it done, he just puts up numbers. The screen numbers are there. Like he is like an all-time, he's climbing up the all-time GOAT list. He's just like LeBron
Karl
James.
Malone at the Monsters Inc. universe goes crazy. He's just exclusively in the 13-year-olds' bedrooms.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah,
He sees having his own battles.
Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, we're keeping all that in, by the way. But it's, just the fact of just like Mike being this like sidekick to Sully, just trying to find his own identity and things too. And just, my gosh, I mean this movie just is there's a lot of great like messages in that movie too. I really liked Monsters Inc. as a kid growing up, and just the fact that it just hits as a nostalgia pick, and I got him at the OG10 just really, really helps me just have a good balance with it too.
I'm very upset at you, Ryan.
Yeah?
Not because of your analysis, because of you took my pick.
Yeah.
I felt like if I got Monsters Inc. right here, right now, I would have been strong suitor for a deep playoff push. I felt like I had like my core like on lock on like 5-year contracts. Like we're building around these three. Like I thought I would have had it, but now I got a strong 2. I got my 1-2 punch, but again, I'm not trying to build an all-star team. I'm trying to build a well-rounded, deep team, and that's what the mindset is, and that's what I need to continue to do. So without further
you're going
ado,
right in. All right, let's go for it.
what pick are we at now? Is this
9, right? This is 9.
Yeah, 9th pick.
9 and 10.
Oh God, what category do I want to pull from is the question now.
So you have films with no sequels, Toy Story films, the 2010s, the 2020s, and wild cards still available.
Dude, I was really hoping I could pull a Monsters Inc. with wild card, but RT had other plans. Okay. RT aside, I think it's time. I think it's time to do it.
Is he doing it?
Oh my God.
Oh, I
we
think
keep looking
Yeah,
at each
we
other 'cause
say
we're like,
It's gonna happen. It's
Yo.
bound to happen.
you said RT aside.
Because RT took my pick. He took my pick. So
yeah, that's
gotta
true.
put it out the window for now. Move on. That's like, picking Marvin Bagley before the Grizzlies could have done it, Yeah. You're like, dang it, man, I wish I. Okay, here we go. I am going to go. Okay, I think I'm going to choose this category first. I think I will go films with no sequels.
Okay. I'm nervous.
And I will go
Don't do it.
Soul.
No.
Oh, okay. I'm fine with that.
I'll do Soul.
Oh.
That doesn't hurt me.
I will do Soul.
Oh, that hurts me. Damn.
The scouting drafts
Oh,
didn't have this one on the board.
that's brutal.
Okay.
That's brutal. Oh, I was hoping I could get him later.
As a musical genius in Ryan Clark.
Oh, that's so
Since
brutal.
he took Monsters Inc. from me,
Yeah,
this
I
was
knew it was
more
coming.
of a pick where I needed to get him back. Because I know what this
just
movie
lick
could
back.
mean to anyone with a musical background.
Lick back. Oh,
But
that's
gosh,
gross.
I just love
That's gross.
this movie so much. I mean, I don't even really need to give too much of an explanation because I just think I'll let the experts in the field take over on this one. But I just when this movie came out, like it was one of those where it's like, oh, you got to see this in theaters. Like, I feel like that's kind of rare.
This was a COVID release.
This was a COVID movie.
Was it?
We
Yeah,
saw
this
on
was
Disney
this
Plus.
was a Disney Plus
Right.
movie.
They
Yeah,
re-released it in theaters, like I think a year and a half later.
2021, 2022. Yeah,
God, you're so right.
Yeah, this
I
was
saw
a- this
this.
was a-
I saw this
watched
Christmas
it.
night for
yeah,
COVID.
yeah. I saw this too.
I saw this and Wonder Woman 1984 back to back.
I can't even. Yeah. Well,
This was like one of the first core ones.
because I watched it on either the computer or the TV.
Yeah, this was like a computer one. I just popped up
good,
and just.
though. But
Yeah.
I just love for this one alone. Like I mean that style, like the jazz music. I was just a big
So
fan.
good.
I love it. I love it. Ben, do you want to take this one away because I'm sure you have a lot more to say as a critic himself.
Never cared for this movie. I don't know what
All right,
it is.
moving
This
on.
one.
Moving on.
I will say the New York Knicks joke is very funny.
Oh, the Knicks joke is so good.
What was it again?
It was like
it's
where
Tina Fey's character is like
yeah,
messing with
22 is like she's like, hey, I've been messing with this team for years, and it's like and then it's like
now.
it's like David. It almost looks like David Robinson. No, Patrick Ewing. I always get those two
think
mixed
it's
up.
Ewing.
Yeah, Patrick Ewing, and he's like trying to go for an alley oop, and like 22 like makes him miss the dunk, or like
and
makes
the
him
Knicks
fall.
lose another
Yeah,
one.
but now the Knicks are really good. So it's so funny how the Knicks have turned around like the 2020s. But yeah, that was going to be one. I will kind of add just because I think just from a musical perspective, just they do such a good job. John Batiste,
His score is incredible.
score is fantastic.
It's
Score is fantastic.
Atticus, Travis.
Mhm.
So it's Atticus Ross. What's his name? Trent Reznor. And then John Batiste.
Yeah, John Batiste.
Great score.
Great scores. I love the scores, and again, they got some heavy musicians. Questlove is a incredible actor. Angela Bassett, does a really good job as Dorothy Boyd. So it's just so and they also just do a really good job of animating the whole idea of just being in the zone, just animating like they pretty much got everything nailed, like just in terms of like note accuracy, drum accuracy, bass accuracy, saxophone accuracy. They like hit everything on the nail. And yeah, Tia Fuller is incredible as a saxophonist in this movie too. So it is everything to just kind of just hit the nail on the head.
I will say this though, RT, the scores are here.
Yeah, the scores are here. The scores are here. That is the Iman Shumpert of this draft for
That's
sure.
what I'm saying. Okay.
Yeah, you have a true pick.
All I do remember from that movie is just when I watched it, I was just loving every second of the movie. I haven't seen it since then though, but I remember like when I look at the Pixar films, I'm like, that movie hit me hard when I watched it. Okay, moving on to the fourth pick. This one, I'm actually backtracking on what my original plan to what to do was, but I think I could sneak them by in the next round. But with that being said, I'm just gonna take this off the board right now. This might be. I mean, I know this is a polarizing movie.
Okay.
Some people love it. Some people don't like it at all.
Ooh.
And for that reason alone, I'm going on the side that I did like this movie, and I'm going from the wild card section. I'm going Wall-E.
Okay.
I was hoping
Okay.
I could get this one.
I was hoping I could get this one too.
Wally is off the board with the 10th pick.
Got Wally.
Dang, these are.
I was
I have some movies
Curious
in
if
there
I
that
could
I
have gotten
really
it.
like.
I thought so too.
If I went this route, Ben,
Mhm.
you would have been able to get him, I think. But I'm just really holding on, hoping I could get some of these movies later on. But it's tough. It's tough. But that's what drafting's all about.
Okay, so Wally, real quick, like, do you want to speak on it since you're the one who drafted it?
I mean, I'll keep it short and simple. I mean, I think it kind of had everything in a Pixar movie. I think I really liked just the whole concept as a whole. I mean, it was just I don't know why people don't like it. Can you speak on on why people don't like Wall-E?
I don't know. I love this movie. I
okay.
will say,
I just enjoyed every second of it.
as a kid, it's a little slow.
Yeah, I liked.
I remember
watched it when
seeing
I was
it in
older.
theater and like kind of falling asleep for the first 40 minutes, which now the first 40 minutes is like incredible to me. The whole introduction of these two characters. I know some people don't love when you're just on this planet or you're on this spaceship and everyone's like really fat, like all that stuff like doesn't like some people just don't really care for this subplot and like what the message of what this film is trying to accomplish. I don't know. Like I've always enjoyed this film. I think it's really good. And upon rewatching it, the dynamic between those two characters is so electric that I've never had an issue with it. I wish it was still on the board. RT, you?
All right. Well, that was going to be my next pick. I was going to put this in Oscar winners, but
Yeah, you need an Oscar winner.
yeah, I do. I could double up here. I already have Toy Story 2 here, but yeah, I'm going to go. Yeah, I'm going to double up here. I'm going to go with Toy Story 3 as my Oscar winner here.
I think that's the right pick.
Yeah, I think so too. I really, really like this movie. This is actually one of these movies I remember crying in a movie theater because after spending so much time just like Andy departs with Woody and all of his toys and just the whole idea of just like so long partner, just that I remember just being in that movie theater at 13 years old. I don't really cry in movies, but that was one of the first times I really cried in that movie was Toy Story 3 and just the whole ending.
Cried during The Notebook. He saved. His,
No,
he saved his tears for
the Notebook. No, it's Notebook's cool. But Notebook's cool.
Notebook's cool.
Yeah, Notebook is cool. Yeah. I will say, yeah, with Toy Story 3, I really did like a lot of just the dynamic of it. Lots of Huggabear is like also a really good villain too.
And then Beatty.
I was gonna ask you, did you guys like the introduction of the pink bear in Toy Story 3?
He's very effective in that movie.
Yeah, he is for sure. I liked it. I mean,
would say my favorite scene was when they're going down like the garbage. What was it?
Yeah,
the garbage disposal. Yeah.
Excellent scene. It's like the one memory I have from that movie.
Yeah.
I really like Toy Story 3. This was one that I remembered not liking as a kid, and I think that was like the idea of like throwing out your toys. I'm like and obviously as proof by Christo and my lifestyle, we just don't throw out any of our stuff. So like
collect them.
You collect them. So
What year
I
did
remember
that come out?
2010.
Oh, damn.
And I remember like watching that film and having that struggle then, like just not enjoying it. Rewatching it this time around, I had a great time with it. I think it's so largely due to the fact that this movie is essentially a prison escape movie, and you've replaced like you take the movie The Great Escape, and instead of Steve McQueen, you have Tom Hanks at the center of this movie, and again, just another great performance from Tom Hanks in this movie. I think it's a pretty stunning film on that side. So I think it's a really good pick here, and that means I'm up, right?
Yeah, it means you're up. You get the next two picks.
Okay. In the 2010s, I am going to draft with the 12th pick Inside Out.
That's a good one. I was hoping that would fall back to me.
I am going to draft Inside Out at 12 in the category of the 2010s. This is another, I think I have this in my top 5 Pixar, so I'm really glad to have it in this spot. What an inventive film from Pixar. Just the way this movie is able to have a young audience understand how the mind works, to have the humor be so specified. Everything about it, from all the vocal performances, which are all given by comedic actors. You have Phyllis Smith, who plays Sadness from The Office, is in this movie. Amy Poehler is just delightful as Joy. Lewis Black is my favorite character as Anger. I think he's so funny in that movie. Then you have Mindy Kaling, Bill Hader rounding out that cast, along with
all-star group.
Richard Kind, who's been having his resurgence on John Mulaney's talk show as Bing Bong in it. Just an incredible cast all around. Wonderful animation. Again, the way that this movie is able to have people, I think, especially young people, kind of understand the different emotions of how their mind works, I think is actually done to like just astonishingly great effects. And I really enjoy that for that reason alone. And I think one of the other things that's very underrated about this movie is what's it called? The other quality of it is just the emotional impact that this movie has. This idea of like taking this kid out of their home, putting them in San Francisco, like this new moving feeling, and then like her running away, all those emotions, how those emotions get beautifully reflected at the end of the film with the parents. I think the parents are both wonderful in this film as well. Just taking this all and essentially validating those feelings. And I think that's a really important thing that Inside Out does very well. It's the idea that sadness has to take over in this moment, and then that something can be a joyful experience and a sad experience. That, I just think the way that they are able to animate that and realize that on the screen is something kind of miraculous. Now, this is an interesting category that I have coming up too, because I could completely screw Christo here.
No.
Because like I could take, he doesn't have a pick in Toy Story films yet, and 3 Toy Story films are already off the board.
No, please don't.
And like
you take it,
and I could like leave him with another film.
Don't, please. That just ruins my team.
But like I don't know if that's the pick that I want. So I have films with no sequels, the 2020s, and Wild Card still available, with just picking Inside Out for the 2010s. And the one category that I'm getting a little concerned about is films with no sequels.
No.
Yeah, that's the one I'm starting to get worried about too.
If you take this movie, I'm
There's some that are just like, this is where
two that I'm debating, because they're also both in the 2020s, which gets me a little nervous.
I know.
I messed up.
Yeah.
I messed up with that.
Yeah.
I realized when I chose film with no sequels, it took a 2020 spot, and I'm like, no.
This is where I get like nervous, because wouldn't be on the higher of my list, but also like just kind of want to have this in this category.
I know. I'm kind of looking at it too.
Just rip the Band-Aid off.
No, I'm
too.
gonna go.
I'm looking at it too. Ugh.
I feel like you're not gonna get it. I'm gonna go. What do I do here? What do I do? Oh, that's still on the board though.
Call Vivek. See if he could help.
Okay, I'm actually changing it. I want to just, because it's still on the board. I'm gonna go Cars and Wild Card.
Yeah, that was
Cars
gonna be
is still on
my
there?
Cars
pick
is
too.
still on the board.
Yeah, Cars was gonna be
It's
on
such
there.
because I realized that it's not on our board a bunch because like it is in the OG 10. It is in with no sequels. It is not in the sequel. It is not an Oscar winner. It's not in Toy Story. So the only place that I guess it's really eligible is OG and Wild Card.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I'm like, actually,
gross.
Cars is still here.
I was hoping that would fall to me.
RT, I think.
I was gonna do something. I was gonna do something else.
We're so cooked.
I mean, when you go up against the
We're
GOAT, what do
so
you expect?
cooked.
What do you expect?
We're so cooked.
Dude, we're so done.
I was so nervous because I was looking at a few categories and I'm like, do I do it? And I'm like, I'd rather have a weaker film in one of these other categories than not get the chance to take Cars.
Dude, I'm
kind of lucky I remembered it. I'm going, I mean, this is a divisive movie for some, and I think this is an age gap movie. If you were right at the age where this movie hit. And like, so much so that I love this movie.
It's such a great movie. How could you say
adore
anything bad
this
about
movie.
Cars 1?
Yeah,
Like
Cars movies is so classic. I love Owen Wilson. Love Larry the Cable Guy. Like those two.
Paul Newman.
Paul Newman's great. Like the actors just do such a great job in that movie.
This is one that I like rewatched and I'm like, this.
Dude,
This
I
might be
almost
steal
forgot
of the
about
draft. This is
we're
breaking
so
news.
done.
Shams Charania This is the steal of the draft, and
I
cannot
think so,
believe
too.
we
Well,
let
I
that
know
go
this one is
unnoticed.
probably going to get some people because they look at some of the other films still on this board and they're like, "You're really going Cars here?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I gotta go Cars here."
Dude, but this is like the 11th pick.
Yeah, I got it with the 13th
pick. Yeah,
I just feel like that's great value.
Christo, we're cooked.
No, dude,
we're
I'm,
cooked.
I'm not making the plan. I'm
We're
not going
cooked.
straight to the lottery
We're
again
cooked.
next year.
We're cooked.
I'm already looking forward to next year's.
Yeah, we're so cooked, man.
Dude, I don't.
I think the thing that
Can we make
also,
trades? Can we make trades?
I mean, I guess in theory,
All right, RT and I might have to figure something.
I
out
think
with you.
the thing about Cars that really works too about it is like it's aged really well because of Radiator Springs raceways at Disneyland.
one
like,
of the best. I think
I
the
love
best,
that
the
area.
best ride. I think it might be the best ride.
It's one of my
at-
favorites for sure. And
at
I
Disneyland.
love spending time in Radiator Springs at Disneyland. So I think that's also just helped my level of nostalgia for this movie. But also just like this kind of informs every sports movie to me. Like this is probably the first sports movie I've watched, and like, you know, I watched this before Rocky. I watched
Oh,
this
yeah.
before any of those.
With the emergence of F1 right now.
Shout out
I
to-
mean, as a kid, this is like.
I just think this movie's magical.
Shout out to Bob Costas, by the way, the announcer. You love Bob Costas. Love Bob
This
Costas.
movie's so funny. Like every joke in this movie I find funny. The redemption arc of Lightning McQueen having to learn to be a better person. Michael Keaton's in this movie as the other racer going up against
RT, we're
Lightning.
screwed. RT.
I
This
feel
movie,
great.
how did we not see it?
I had it there. I was hoping that it would follow me there
I
in the
didn't
fifth
even. I
round.
didn't even see. it.
Oh, dude,
see it on-
yeah.
So with the 13th pick, Cars off the table.
Okay.
RT, I just gotta say,
Gross.
real quick, shouts out my little cousin Jude. My little
Dude,
cousin
Jude is goated.
Loves cars. He has he's got Lightning McQueen and Tow Mater, and the Lightning McQueen toy. You wheel it back, and then he says speed. I am speed, and then takes off in the living room.
I had all the McDonald's toys on this. Like when they were coming
wow.
out, I had all the McDonald's.
What year?
collected.
What year did this come out?
2005 or 6, I think. 2005, I think. Here's what I will also say. Let's just kind of do a quick recap of the draft halfway through.
I don't even want to say my team out loud. now that I'm
Incredibles, Finding Nemo, Toy Story, Inside Out, Cars is my team. RT, you got Monsters Inc., Toy Story 3, Toy Story 2, Coco. Christo, you got Up, Soul, Ratatouille, and Wall-E. You have all.
Okay, I
you
do-
actually have all Oscar winners.
I
right
do
now.
like I do like my team right now.
The
now
thing
that you're saying it out loud, I was being a little dramatic. Your team by far is the winner.
I think it's because I also
think
have
I'm
one
in-
extra
I think
film
I'm
right
in-
now.
I think I'm in second right now. I'll confidently say.
Yeah.
I'm like the one thing that I'm really nervous now because that's what I'm
But
also
Coco's a good
concerned.
movie, RT. That's a strong player right there.
What I'm nervous about, and that's the reason I almost didn't go wild card and grab Cars there, but then I'm like, oh, I gotta get it if it's on the board. It's like I think a lot of films that are going to fill out my 2020s sequels or films with no sequels are about to just get drafted right in front of me, and I'm like, I'm gonna probably get some stinkers
It might happen.
where I've just like accepted that I have like really high end talent.
Yeah.
You have,
I think you guys are gonna get. Some
I
of the
think
diamonds in the rough.
yeah, this is going to be one of them, I think.
Ooh.
This one is probably the most recent Pixar movie that came out before Elio. And I am going to get this. This is going to be going into my 2020s. I'm going to take a risk here and hopefully get my sequel in the back turn. But I'm going to go Inside Out 2 as my 2020s pick.
I was circling this movie as well.
Yeah.
This was kind of one of the sequels I was hoping would
I saw
still be
that
on
in
the board.
theaters. I was gonna put that in my sequels too.
Yeah,
a great
I really like Inside Out too. I just like Ben talked about earlier with Inside Out. They do everything well in Inside Out and make it even better in Inside Out 2. I do think it's one of those sequels that, along with Toy Story, that almost improves the catalog of what a movie is. I love the character of anxiety, and
Yes,
I think
Maya Hawke's great.
I think anxiety just depicts such a real feeling for people that deal with anxiety, deal with like all this pressure, because damn near everybody deals with anxiety.
Yeah.
And it's a real feeling, and just the way that they picture and capture anxiety in this movie just does such a really good job. I really liked Inside Out 2, and just dealing with Riley as a teenager, how she
Hockey's super.
yeah,
fun, by the
just
way.
yeah, hockey's so much fun. Shout out to the Florida Panthers, by the way. Go Cats! Wow, wow.
So
Back to back Stanley Cup champs.
this was definitely a high one in my 2020s and sequels. Like this was one that I saw that I'm like, I was kind of hoping that it could go a little bit more lower so I could potentially get it in sequels. it really makes my 2020s start getting really scary, especially because I kind of have a feeling I'm going to lose my probably second favorite 2020s right now with Christo's pick.
I'm taking it.
Yeah.
It's if you know me, you know I love this movie.
I also got to remind you, you still do not have a Toy Story film.
I know. I'm working on it. Don't worry.
I'm really hoping I can leave you with Lightyear.
Hey, don't sleep on Lightyear. It wasn't that bad of a movie. Okay. You know what?
It's that bad of a movie.
I am going to say this.
Psychological warfare.
I need to get this
that's
movie out
brutal.
right now because
Yeah.
I love it. I almost took this second overall.
We thought you were going to go third.
I almost did it.
He and I were looking at each
Yeah,
other like, we're like, he's really
It's
going to put
coming.
this right here.
I
coming.
would have. I really would have. I mean, obviously, with the way you guys drafted it, kind of, forced me to go a certain direction. I'm still, steering the course the way I want to. And with that being said, let's go 2020s. I believe that is the only category.
Yeah, it's the only
has-
category that's eligible for.
We're going onward.
Yep.
We are going onward.
Off the
I don't
draft.
think RT's seen the film, so right, RT?
No, I've not.
Dude, this film,
Onward is off the draft.
The
board.
Brotherhood.
Chris Pratt and Tom Holland? Yeah.
Oh, wait, Tom Holland.
Damn.
Realize. That just makes this pick even stronger with the type of run that Tom Holland is on. This was like when Tom Holland was like on his Timothy Chalamet wave of movies. Wow. But dude, Onward. If you haven't seen this movie, you're doing yourself a disservice. Go get a projector screen, turn the lights down low, and turn on this film as big of a screen as you can. This movie takes you on a wild ride, and just the themes, the symbolism, the art of this movie is just picture perfect. And the fact that I got this as rounding out a starting 5, this is like my 3-and-D wing right here. This is like my lengthy guard lengthy wing player that every team is searching for right now. And I got it. And I got it on a great contract, I think, because I got him in the 5th round. I don't have to overpay. But he's one of those guys that on certain people's draft boards, this could go first, potentially second round. And the fact that I got this on my 5th round, on the tail end of a 5th round, I think is unbelievable value. Just watch this movie, just see how it makes you feel, the themes, the storyline, everything is a 5 out of 5. I'm curious, what did you rate this when you were giving your reviews on this film?
Don't remember. I didn't rewatch this one because I saw it in 2020. This was one of the last films that came out to theaters before COVID shut down everything.
Mm-hmm.
I do remember quite liking this movie. I do remember like the criticism of this movie being like generally a little formulaic and like predictable. I didn't care because the emotional resonance of this movie with the Chris Pratt, with the Tom Holland relationship of two brothers going after to look for their father, like I found that very impactful, and the ending of this movie I found really beautiful. This was definitely the one that I was kind of like looking at for my 2020s, where I'm like, I could have a really good 2020s if I put Onward here. So ultimately disappointed to see this one off the draft. However, I can live. Let's see.
All right.
16 pick.
16.
Okay, 16th pick. I mean, you kind of brought this to my attention. I really wasn't, like, my eyes were just not drawn to the Toy Story films. Obviously, even though Toy Story is one of my favorite films in general, since you guys just took 1, 2, and 3, I'm going to go out and say I liked Toy Story 4 a lot.
Yeah,
I was
did
a
too.
big fan of Toy Story 4, and that's going in my Toy Story
Trash.
films category.
Okay.
Toy Story 4.
No Lightyear.
I think
That might go undrafted.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Honest.
there Forky was just an incredible
I
character.
love Forky.
The memes that came out of Toy Story 4
Trash.
are unreal. I mean, as Kings fans, we could relate to the
Oh,
memes that came out
God.
of it.
Trash.
But
Marvin Bagley. Trash.
I was.
Kyle Guy.
This movie was just so good.
Trash.
Oh, man, I was
Even
a
like
big
when
Kyle
they
guy
go through
believer.
the carnival scenes and like just everything. Like I saw this one in theaters.
I did
saw this
too.
one in theaters.
This was actually for a while, I think, my second favorite Toy Story film. I rewatched it again this morning.
I think it's better than 3. I'll say it.
I
think it's better than 3.
I don't
Sorry,
know.
RT.
I
think it's better
I
than
can
3.
get there. I can get there because, like I said, it used to go Toy Story and Toy Story 4 for me, were like my top two on this one.
Damn.
So
Oh,
like,
and RT's got 2 and 3.
yeah, I know.
Hey, listen, that's their
Oh,
opinion.
sorry.
Hey,
It used to. Sorry,
you're
it
right,
did go.
you're right.
It did used to go Toy Story 2, Toy Story 4 for me. That's
Toy
what
Story
I meant
2
to
is
say.
better. Toy Story 2 is
I
better, sure.
the thing that I love about this movie, one, you're right. Like the Forky dynamic is really funny.
Oh, I have one more character, if you don't mind me.
Oh yeah, is it Kaboom?
Duke Kaboom.
Duke Kaboom.
Duke
Keanu Reeves
Kaboom
is so
was-
funny. As
I think for
Yes,
that,
we Canada.
see, Duke Kaboom had so many fun.
No, you're forgetting the
one-liners.
two funniest characters in this
Who else?
movie.
Who else?
Key and Peele are in this
Oh
movie.
yeah.
Oh,
that's
dude.
They're so funny. It's
What are
the
their toys?
ducky and
yes.
the big blue rabbit, and they have
so
this
many.
scene that is so funny that I was cracking up rewatching this morning, where they're trying to figure out how to take the key from the grandma, and they keep coming up with like different strategies that just involve them scaring and attacking the grandma.
Yeah,
and
there's a lot of
funny.
I think comedy-wise, Toy Story 4
Hits.
might be one of the best.
Tony Hale is
Use of
Forky
comedy
is
in
so
all of
funny.
Pixar movies.
The whole like trying to throw himself away, like
Yeah.
all of it's really well done in this movie.
I think there was a lot at stake with this film. Like they could have derailed the franchise, but they kept it going with this.
And I think like the thing was that and it's the reason I was kind of wanting to draft this in sequels, was that with Toy Story 4, to be able to bring back this series after a pretty perfect trilogy of first three films and actually find a reason for it to exist. And this idea that Woody is now trying to find his purpose past his kid growing up. And the way that we take this is a film that's called Toy Story 4. This could kind of just be a Woody standalone because most of this movie is focused on Woody. Some of the other characters are there. Buzz Lightyear's obviously in this film. Jesse and all of them are obviously in there. They're largely sidelined for this movie.
That's
because
how
this
Bo
is,
Peep
yeah.
had a huge major role.
And that's what the
Major role in
magic
this.
of this movie is finding Woody basically get to his moment that he can be happy, that he can find a new purpose in life after Andy has grown up, and learning that Bonnie will be okay. Like the send-off that these two characters had, I will not be afraid to admit it. I watched it again this morning. I cried when Woody has to say goodbye.
I thought you were about
to
to say
Buzz?
You didn't like it.
No,
I was like, what a
love
great ending.
this.
I thought it was a great ending.
I love this ending. I find it so beautiful, and there's so many moments in this film that I was just kind of like profoundly touched by. The scene, because we have the villain of, I think her name's Gabby Gabby in this film. And like the thing that I love so much about this film, especially on rewatch, was that Gabby Gabby's not really the villain. She just wants to be loved. And the moment where she gets to find her owner, essentially, where she gets to find her kid, and it's like you have this scene where there's this little like 4-year-old crying because she's lost her parents, and then like that, I find it so beautiful, and to see like everyone lighting up because like this is what they can do for each other. Like I just love this conclusion for Woody's story. I'm very nervous about Toy Story 5 for that reason. I would have loved to have Toy Story 4
for that. Is that next year?
Summer, I think.
Summer blockbuster.
So, Toy Story 4 off the board with the 16th pick. That brings us back to RT, who has the categories of films with no sequels, sequels, and wild card.
Yeah,
Is he
so
using the wild card? Right?
no, I'm not gonna use the wild card now. I do need to get a sequel here. I'm debating between two. Now that
I'm nervous. I'm very nervous.
Yeah, I'm debating between two because
We all haven't done
Yeah,
sequels
because
yet.
this is one I feel like this is going to be the one that flies off the board list very quickly. I do not think this. Yeah, because if I go with one of them, I know for a fact neither. It's not going to fall back to me in the wild card spot.
Yeah, he's doing it.
Yeah, there's two I'm really debating on because. Yeah, this is like 1A, 1B for me for sequels. Oh, God. Yeah, this is where it gets really tricky for me.
I'm hoping.
Oh, see.
I'm really hoping.
Oh, God. See, this is where I really am struggling here because I've seen one that I really liked a lot, but there was also another one that just got so many good reviews and does so many things right. I'm going to go with the one that does it right. I'm gonna go with Incredibles 2.
Yep.
Yeah, that was
the one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Incredibles 2. I think to me, yeah. As much as that next one will probably get taken too. The one I was debating on, but for me, why I really liked Incredibles 2 was just again, I think this sequel does so much right. It just brings the whole message of like family unity. I really liked that whole message of just that side of it because that whole idea was trying to have somebody control a whole bunch of superheroes, right? And just establish world domination. But like at the same time, you have this family and it's almost like the kids are just like growing up too, where they're like seeing their whole family almost get controlled, and then you have the kids are almost trying to be the ones that step up. Jack has like such a breakout role in this movie too, and I really do like this movie a lot. I think this movie lost. If this was against any other animated film, because it did lose to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, I think this would have been an Oscar winner for sure.
Definitely.
And I think to me, like this movie just, again, I really like sequels that do better in a way. That it's kind of been my main theme of this whole draft.
Look at how many.
I mean, a lot of twos. I have a lot of twos, and in Toy Story 3. So
wait, RT, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the Underminer?
The Underminer. Ah,
What are
man.
your thoughts on the Underminer?
I played the video game of the Underminer. Yeah, because they came out with a video game. I remember playing that video game and then the first Incredibles video game. That was like my two like banger video games on PlayStation 2.
Yeah, good.
When did Incredibles 2 come out?
2018.
Oh, okay.
I knew this. You were about to take it. It's the right pick in sequel category with what's left on the board.
There was a lot at stake with that film too.
It was, and it was such one where you're like, why did it take so long for this sequel? Because it's like this is actually of the ones you could do a sequel on. This one's a very easy one,
especially the way it ended. Like,
and
why
with
would
the
it take so
superhero
long?
boom like going on in the 2010s, like it just seems shocking that this film didn't come out sooner. I rewatched this film because I remember seeing it in theaters and being like, I like this film. I don't love this film. And I rewatched it, and like there was a few things that I really appreciated on my rewatch of it. One, the staging of the action in this movie is just so well done. Brad Bird has such an eye for the direction of action in this and the way that it looks, the way that it's crafted. I found it so electric. And the other one is the humor of this film. I think the dynamic and the characters' growth in it and the way that the humor is able to reflect this, I think this movie's incredibly funny. So I also really like that they were able to do it. I have issues with the screenslaver, who's the villain of this movie. I think that is by far the weakest part of this movie.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But besides that, it's a great pick, which brings me back on the board. So in my categories, I have films with no sequels, and the 2020s. I'm getting really nervous because I kind of know I don't really know what to do here. So in the 20... Is that what I want to do?
You know what movie's just waiting for you to get picked. If I could, I would have this movie on my team, but there's no room. I'm not going to say it. I just want to see if you pick it and
what
then we can talk
movie
about
am I mixing?
There's a good movie on there. There's a very good movie on the board right now that I'm kicking myself that I can't throw it on my team.
I am most nervous about the category of the 2020s. So I am going to go Churning Red.
Yes,
the
Ben.
2020s.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
That was the one.
Right when I thought there was a chance for us to come back, Ben slaps us in the face and says, "You are not going to build a dynasty. I am." Turning Red. Sorry if I'm stealing your thunder. Turning Red. I don't know what the mass consensus of this movie is, but talking personally, loved this film.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved this film. The boy band. They have bangers.
Yeah. Good songs.
Bangers. And just dude, it's so funny. It's so good. The puberty.
I think this movie's a funny movie about puberty. I do.
It's a puberty film. It's a puberty film.
It's definitely not my favorite Pixar film. I think what works for me is it's what Pixar has always been able to do really well, even in some of their lesser films, is the emotional core of the film. And I think the mother-daughter core of this movie works. And I think that is actually what the wonder of this movie is. So I have no regrets having it in the 2020s. I like that one.
That's a good
So
movie.
I now have films with no sequels or sequels.
RT, you haven't seen this either?
No, I'm watching it as soon as I get home.
Dude, there's this movie. RT, you literally sound like the boy band. Like your voice I think they AI
generated before AI generated became popular.
Well, I mean, if there's one company that probably had AI before anyone, it was Disney.
Yeah, that's true. Disney owns everything.
They heard your voice and they
Disney owns everything.
I don't feel great about anything that I'm about to do, so I'm just going to go my favorite board in the draft that I can do. So in sequels, I'm going to get Monsters University.
Yeah, that's the one I was debating between.
That's the one that I'm like, I look at it and I'm like, well, you know what? I kind of just accept that my no sequels is not going to be great, so I'm just going to go the one that I like on the board. This movie is definitely far inferior to Monsters Inc., but I still think it's a really funny movie. Like if you're just watching it as a comedy, and I can be honest because I can't draft this film anymore. I was debating between Finding Dory and Monsters University because I think I might like Finding Dory slightly more than I like Monsters University, just again for that emotional core that I'm talking about. I already have Finding Nemo, so just to get Monsters representation on this board, I like this as the number 19th pick. So
that's pretty good.
I would say
That's a good deal. That's a good value pick.
Disney ran with Monsters U though. Like they found a way to.
Yeah, I mean those. I have that.
Yeah, Monsters. Yeah, they have like
Monsters U has probably. Dude, I bet you they made.
They do a
sell
good job.
so many
They
of those.
do.
They built like close
yeah.
to a bill just off of that hat. I mean, this is just me guessing the numbers, but everyone had that hat.
Yeah, I have that hat in my
The
closet.
blue hat. Everyone had it. I mean, I don't think that's a bad pick at all.
No, and they do a pretty good job of they like do a. I was in a fraternity, so I kind of know like I was watching this movie again
Was
as
in two fraternities.
yeah, I was in a music fraternity and a social, but
And if he could have, he probably would have been in the Monsters U.
yeah, probably Monsters. I would have been in Uzma Kappa for sure. But yeah, I think this movie does a pretty good job of what like Greek life looks like for those. Because I mean, in a way, with fraternities, it's always kind of like
I've always heard that about.
This is the Disney fraternity movie.
yes,
It is, but like this is a crazy statement.
it is.
The boldest take I've ever heard.
Yeah,
about
I mean,
a Disney
it's
film.
it kind of it shows what fraternities look like. That's what it is. But they don't like do. I guess well, because in a way, you think about it, like some of the top ranked fraternities, like I could tell some of them are like exactly like a Pike. A Pike fraternity is like known for being a top fraternity, but a bunch of like douchebag fraternity, like stereotypical douchebag guys. Like
They're coming after me.
yeah, they're coming after me. I was never in Pike, so yeah, Pike people, you can come find me. All the Barstool sports people that watch this are coming after me too, but. But in a way, I do think like they do classify like what like fraternities look like, what the underdog story looks like. I definitely like this movie, and this probably would have been my wild card if it did fall to me. But I'm gonna have to pivot.
Imagine a Monsters Inc. and a Monsters U on RT's draft list.
Yeah,
That'd be crazy. But RT, that means it's your turn.
it is my turn. I am gonna go.
Wait, should we just recap what's left?
Yeah,
on the
let's
board?
recap what's left.
Let me just pull up the list real quick because I want to make sure we all know what is on the board. So we have A Bug's Life hasn't been drafted. We have
I don't think Brave's been.
Cars 2 hasn't been drafted. Brave hasn't been drafted. The Good Dinosaur hasn't been drafted. Finding Dory hasn't been drafted. Cars 3 hasn't been drafted. Luca hasn't been drafted. And Elemental and Elio have not been drafted.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it.
If this was a different draft and Luca was still on the board,
I know I'm in a different world and a
we'd be
different
fired
planet.
as GMs if
Oh my god. Okay, so I'm gonna go. Yeah, I actually am gonna go with films with no sequels here. I think this movie. I think this movie definitely did a lot pretty well, and this was received pretty well as well. I'm gonna go with Brave as my film with no sequels.
Okay.
As much as I think to me just how well this movie has done. I think this is a very solid pick for me, just in terms of just being able to really be all for it. I do like the story of just how it really does. It takes place in Scotland. It does have a lot of historical context and background. Again, not really much to say about this movie.
Did you watch it?
I did watch it.
This is like the one that I can't speak anything about.
Yeah, this one I barely remember because I was 16 when this came out, so I don't really remember it, and I've only seen it one time. So,
it was
it was well received. So like I'm taking that into account. Yeah.
I think it's not bad value to get here, which brings us to Christo. You're going to be finishing with sequels and the 2010s.
I think I'm ready.
You
I think
going?
I'm ready to close it out.
Yep.
I mean, here we go. I'll go 2010s first.
Okay.
And let's get The Good Dinosaur.
Okay.
Let's get the GD.
The Good Dinosaur.
I was a fan. I enjoyed the film.
Nothing to say here. I saw
liked the
it
film.
and
I liked it.
I think it looks beautiful.
I think it was
and that's my opinion
what
on
was
the
that?
movie.
What was that one animated film from a long time ago about the dinosaurs, like the flying dinosaurs?
Oh, The Land Before Time.
Land Before Time. It
Land
it
Before
gave me
Time.
that type of nostalgia when I was watching it. I did enjoy it. I love the main character of this film. I really I like some dinosaurs. I'll be honest. Okay, sequels. Finding Dory.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good
Fantastic
pick.
pick.
That was going to be one of my wild card spots.
Okay,
That's the pick for
before
sure.
you guys close it out, I just want to say something really quick. If you look at my team right now,
Yeah, your team
My
is Up,
team-
Soul, Finding Dory, Ratatouille, Toy Story 4, The Good Dinosaur, Onward, and WALL-E. A really solid team.
this team is unbelievably balanced. I think I have a different character from every type of universe here. I got my animals covered with The Good Dinosaur and Ratatouille. I got my people with Up. I got my toys with Toy Story. I got my my robots with WALL-E. I got my people again with Soul, but then I also get a little bit of what do you even want to? I mean, the movie's called Soul, but what would you categorize them as? Like conscious. I got some conscious on my team, and then I even have Onward is a tough category to put them in, but they're just like the mystical creatures, and I think with
I feel like you have a team.
I actually really enjoy my team.
Yeah, that's a good team, Cray. I like it.
RT.
RT, close
All
it out.
right,
Close it out. Wild card.
my wild card pick. So I'm between two. I'm gonna go because I don't have this one. I don't have this franchise in there yet. I'm gonna go Cars 3.
Okay.
And
I think that's not a bad
The
pick.
sequels with RT's team.
yeah, I'm just a full on sequel guy. I was very much debating between another pick, and I low-key ended up seeing Ben's board. I'm like, oh wait, do I do it? And then I'm like, nah, I'll let Ben have this last one because that's the one. Because I'm a good person. But yeah, I like Cars 3. I like the mentorship that Lightning McQueen does in this movie too.
Yeah.
And Storm. We see it all the time with like Storm being this new car. My favorite meme of all time, and this is when we beat the Warriors in the play-in last year. So when Klay Thompson is like Lightning McQueen and then Keegan Murray is like Storm. And then that gave me so much hope. And then I thought we were going to make the playoffs again. And then, oh God. Yeah. I just don't want to talk about this season and this past season for Kings fans. It has just been just a nightmare and a half. But I would say, yeah, there's not much to really say. I really do like the mentorship that Lightning McQueen has in this movie.
I like this movie as well. It's not a great movie. It's a very cliched movie, but like what works about this movie is like what it is saying about mentorship and all that. Like that works. I find the ending very touching where Lightning pays tribute to Doc Hudson. Like that all works. That leaves me with the last pick of this draft. So let's go through the films that haven't been
I know what
selected
you're
yet.
picking.
Yeah.
I got
know
A
it's big
Bug's
too.
Life. I got Cars 2, which I can now just say will not be drafted in this board.
Yay.
We have Cars 3 is off
Luca.
the board. We have Luca. We have Elemental, and we have Elio. I don't feel good about any of these. I am going to go. It's between two for me. I think I'm just going to go A Bug's Life
Yeah. See, that's the one I was thinking.
with the last
I
pick of the
think you're gonna
draft.
get a lot of points for that, honestly.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
when-
yeah. You
when
got
people grade
nostalgia
our draft,
points.
They're gonna see A Bug's Life on there, and even if people, they're just gonna see the name and they're gonna love it because when you see those those insects crawling around, you can't help but just have a little smile on your face. But when you watch the film, you're like,
Yeah, when I watch the film, I'm like,
you're like, because like when you think
they're
of A Bug's
cuter
Life,
until you see the film and you're like, what is this?
you would think like, oh, A Bug's Life.
It's slow.
You would think it would be a.
It's
much
very
better
slow.
film,
That's
but then when
why.
you watch it,
That's
you're
why I
like,
couldn't
oh.
draft it. I was just like, man, this movie.
It was
way
between
too
A Bug's
slow.
Life or Elemental for me, so I went A Bug's Life.
I think you went strictly like veteran right there. Like,
That
you
was
need a
kind of
vet.
what I went, where
Yeah,
I'm just like,
you need
I
like. a
feel like the
solid vet.
name presence alone. Like this is Vince Carter,
This is the Vince Carter sign. Exactly.
Sack King's.
I feel like that's the only reason why you picked it, right?
So kind of, because I just was like between this or Elemental, I probably prefer Elemental a little bit more, but At least I get the name recognition of Bugs Life. I get another OG film in there. So let's go over our draft board. So in the category of the OG 10, I have The Incredibles. In films with no sequels, I have A Bug's Life. In sequels, I have Monsters University. In Oscar winner, I have Finding Nemo. Toy Story films, I have the first Toy Story. 2010s, I have Inside Out. 2020s, I have Turning Red. And wild card, I have Cars.
It's a really good team.
I feel like that my team might get really divided because there's some films people don't like on this. RT's team.
Yeah, so my I'll go top from bottom with OG 10. I have Monsters Inc. Films with no sequel, I have Brave. Sequels, Incredibles 2. Toy Story 3 is my Oscar winner. Toy Story 2 is my Toy Story films. Coco with 2010s. Inside Out in 2020s. And my wild card is Cars 3. So I feel pretty good about this. I know I go pretty Toy Story heavy and sequel heavy, but I am getting representation across all boards here with just every character with Monsters Inc., with Coco, Inside Out, Cars. And I feel pretty good about this. I feel really good. I'm very happy I got Coco as the 2010s. I think that's the best movie in the 2010s.
I think Coco is your
I think
strongest
it's a good
player.
value.
Yeah, I'm really happy I got value.
It's his strongest.
Well, yeah, because you got him at third, but like
Yeah.
Coco's like his guy. Like you build around.
I feel happy with it. And then Toy Story 2, obviously, I feel really good with my team. I think this has a really good balance too. And I think this is a really, really good team.
And Christo, your team.
All right, we'll the same order. OG 10, I got Up. Films with no sequels, I got Soul. Sequels, Finding Dory. Oscar winner, best movie of all time, Ratatouille. Toy Story films, Toy Story 4. 2010s, got The Good Dinosaur. The Great Dinosaur for you guys that haven't seen it. The 2020s, Onward, again, RT, you already know what you're doing tonight. And wild card, Wall-E.
I kind of think Christo might win this draft.
Yeah.
I think we're going to leave it up to the people. I think, like, with Ben's team,
I'm so top heavy.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, the only conflict I have is, like, there's only one basketball at the end of the day. Like, you have just star power on your team. It's like, dude, there's going to be, like, fights in the locker room potentially. Like, I think there might be a coaching change. I think with your team, like, your team is so, like, just celebrities on your team. It's like, how are they gonna all mesh together? With RT's team has a lot of, I'll say
he's got a lot of money on the team.
RT
He's the Dodgers.
like, RT is definitely like an overpay. I mean, because RT obviously, like, he's sequel heavy, a lot of consistency. So he's like saying, I sing what's working, let's duplicate it, which could work. It really could. And then with my team, I feel like I went like, okay,
you have a balance.
Like, I don't think I went over the cap. I think I'm like still under. I don't think I dipped into the luxury tax. I don't think I'm like going like any first or second aprons. I think, like, as an owner, like, I think we're still, like, you know, selling out arenas. I still think we're like the cohesiveness with the team is there. I think we could all get along. So
what was the best value on the board? Like, looking at all the ones.
Cars.
Cars.
I was looking at Wall-E at 10. Where I'm like, I could have thought that one going higher.
Yeah.
I thought Incredibles True at 17 was a really nice grab. I'm trying to look what else I thought was really solid on there. I think
I just love
Cars at
Coco
13
pick.
was a really nice
that's
pick.
a great pick, Ben.
I think Coco at, what was it, RT?
5.
Coco at 5 is, like, solid because some could have that at 1. I think Coco
I think
is
people
that
are
good.
I think
like,
people love this film.
people are obsessed with this movie, and I think RT. I mean, he's getting a whole different region fan base now. It's like, this is like the Wembenyama of Spanish speaking people, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think RT was looking from, like, a, you know, like, what jersey is going to sell the most. And I think, like, Coco is going to get the international viewership as well as jersey sales, and I think it's just.
I think that's a lot of big talk for a channel that really only, like, appeals to 3,000.
I know.
I just don't know how much international reach.
Low-key, I built my team like the New York Yankees, right? Like, where it is the New York.
Monsters Inc. is Aaron Judge.
Yes.
Can we get player comparisons for all of
Sully
them
is like
right now?
Aaron Judge.
That would be. I'm not going to allow you to do all of it, but you can do your top 2.
No, I don't even need to do it for my team, but, like, Coco is definitely Wemby. I think.
Which one of us gets Karl Malone?
I mean, that's RT's coach. RT's coach is Karl Malone.
Well, I mean, technically, Monsters
He
Inc.
thinks of him as a life guru.
Turning Red is definitely Kevin Herter. I think Ratatouille could be. Oh, dude, Ratatouille could be SGA. I think.
Oh,
No, too much flopping.
Yeah, too much.
Today's NBA, I think.
Merchant.
Ratatouille, this is- yeah.
Ratatouille.
That's just too much gratitude.
This is just a polished, beautiful player. That might be Steph.
Dude, Toy Story though. Toy Story could be LeBron. You know,
Yeah,
and then
Toy-
like Toy Story
Yep.
2 and 3 could be like Bronny and Bryce Maximus, and Toy Story 4 is
Damn, he
Zuri.
just threw
Damn, you just
like-
you just threw shade.
he's
You
like-
threw a shade at
it's like, you
Bronny.
got
I'm saying
Ronnie.
the
Toy Story
lineage.
2 is Bronny?
I'm saying the lineage.
That's
RT,
crazy.
I'm saying Toy Story.
LeBron's gonna retweet this
No.
podcast.
Toy Story.
This is the greatest podcast ever. Ronnie, Toy Story 2 comp. It's so hard.
Okay, what I meant was Toy Story is LeBron because he is
No, we know
one of
what
the
you meant.
greatest. Okay, fine. Bryce Maximus is Toy Story 2. Bronny
Oh, that's
is
even
Toy
crazier.
Story 3. Toy Story 4 is Zuri. Okay? No, Zuri's Toy Story 3.
I don't know if this
no,
metaphor's
no,
working
no.
anymore.
Yeah, no, this for
But you know what I mean. LeBron, he has the lineage there.
Ugh.
He built the family, and that's how he's long lasting for 25 years. Boom. That's how I tie it together.
That's how we close it off. So before we sign off, I think we should also just address some of the films that didn't get drafted. Cars 2 obviously did not get drafted. Elemental and Luca left off the board. Elio,
I think Elemental is a sleeper.
I do too. That's why I was
It's
debating
It's a
it.
beautiful movie.
I like the movie well enough. Which brings us to the film that didn't get drafted that we all saw yesterday, which let's just jump into that review real quick. Elio,